News and Men.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast where we resume our conversation with Tracy G of WWIII and DO. This is the second half of episode 13. Lots of good stuff to come in part 2, so enjoy. Well, what I was wondering is actually how you came to come up with that style, because like I said, it was unique for what I had heard at the time. Everybody was kind of like playing sort of blues rock kind of stuff in metal, and then you had like neoclassical type guys.
Yeah.
And then you were coming with more of like an almost like noise based, but like or like a lot of kind of sonic textures as opposed to actually note solos.
It's just that my influences like Hendrix, and I just got feedback and sound from him.
Right.
I heard by the time I started doing it, then I kind of heard Steve Stevens would kind of do that too, though. Right. I heard he still kind of does that.
So did he influence you?
No, he didn't influence me because I was already doing that when I heard him, but I love that guy's guitar playing because he can actually play fucking anything. That guy, he's great. Yeah. He has a flamenco album that's real great.
Wow.
Too. Yeah, it's ripping. Huh. But you know, the first guys that made me do that was Tommy Bolin. Like he was on the Echoplex.
Yeah.
When he did this shit with Billy Cobbler and all that. I mean, all that shit. I'm like, I don't know. I would play backyard parties and I'd be on my Echoplex instead of just noodling around with solos. I do some solo and I get on a sound and I start doing a rhythm with the sound or pulling the knobs on a pedal and making sound. I don't know. I guess Hendrix and Tommy Bolin and then I just incorporated it too because I like every style. I like flamenco and I like blues. I like metal and I like Tony Iommi. I like Yngwie. I like it all. I can't really do any of it exactly. I just kind of still little things and then mix it up with. It just sounds alive when I'm playing kind of normal notes, and then I hit one of my buttons and it just goes. And you know what? I have it set where I don't know. It's on a loop inside the machine. Whether it's
you don't know how. I don't know where.
I don't know how it's going to come out, and that's the beauty of it. Sometimes it comes out like you can never repeat that again. Other times maybe it's not as good, but I mean that's the way it goes. You just chance it, and you're making music at the given time. And when it's over, and you move on. Right. If you didn't record it, you're never going to get it back again. Exactly. I don't. I don't play. Randy.
You're an improvisatory guy.
I'm improv. I'm trying to find. You'll understand this if the song's based in, if Holy Diver is based in the key of C and the solo's in C. To me, that means, what can I play in the key of C that kind of works? What scales and what places can I play on the guitar that kind of works in C? Well, I know this scale and that scale. And, I just float around on my licks that I can do, whatever I'm feeling at the time, depending how the sustain is that night, depending how the sound is
the
delay, everything. Yeah. If the sound is right, God knows what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know what I'm going to play before I play it, unless it's a signature part that I know I'm going to play. That shit in between. And the better it feels that night, the better I'm going to do it.
When I was listening to you guys every night for like a week and a half or whatever. One of the funnest things was when you in the solo sections.
Oh, when I would
you and Vinny would totally just fuck
because
it up like
he'd
crazy.
He'd do something.
He'd turn the beat around backwards,
right, and I would flip around. That's the most beautiful thing of playing with anybody.
And it was always a little bit different,
It's always going to change, and it shouldn't just be the same because life's not the same. Today's not the same as tomorrow. It's not.
Yeah, it was like a living.
It's got to be a live. Yeah, you're right. It has to be alive and breathe. And there's room for like fault. You could. That's all right because that's real too. It can't be all. I don't like that perfect shit.
Right.
I just like it and Vinny's the perfect like that because if I would go gun 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 gun, he'd be going dun 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 dun. He'd copy me. He'd listen. He'd do stuff, would make me do stuff. I do stuff. I mean, and if you got a bass player that's listening too, like Jeff Pilson was really good at that. He's a good musician, and when me, Jeff, and Vinny would jam. Oh man, it was a fun thing. And then you got the voice on top of it. I mean, what the fuck you want?
Yeah, totally.
So all
but
those
you couldn't
songs,
tweak it too much when Ronnie's singing. You don't want to throw a curveball at him.
No, you keep it. Even though I was the one that would be throwing shit at him, but he just sat on top of that shit and. if I was doing something that was way too off, he would say, hey, don't come in too early right then, because he'd tell me something like that. I'd be, oh yeah, okay,
Right.
whatever. But I was constantly just on improv. I'm in a fusion band mode, like in
Right.
my brain. Even though I wanted to do it heavier than like Tony Iommi, like a heavy metal improv. That old Zeppelin shit when they would play those songs forever.
Right.
Like that's. To me, that's real. I don't like the
That's
2
what you
minute,
grew up on,
the
too,
2
yeah.
minute song and the hit and all that. I don't fucking do that. That's cool. But when I pick up the guitar, I want to fuck. I want to do just. That's how it is. I want to. You see a hot chick and you're with her, and what do? You go. That's how it is with them. When it's right, I don't want to have like boundaries. Or you can't do this. You can't do that. Give me the key and give me the beat. And how much time do I have? And just let's see what happens. Yeah.
When you moved on from Dio, was your stuff even more experimental? Was it kind of like you were in a little bit of constraints?
You got
so
a lot
went
of it in that box
going
right
for
there.
it?
You're gonna no. It was like first guy I called was Ray Luzera, the drummer that's in Korn now, because I had
Right.
met him, and he is a motherfucker. Like that guy, it's one of the best drummers on the planet today, I feel. And even then, I called him, and I ran up getting like this. Who do I get to sing this kind of shit? Even though I did a lot of instrumental stuff too, and I still do, but. When I'm gonna get a singer, I just got done with Ronnie. Did Ronnie? I can't. I go. I don't want to get just a regular like a regular good singer is just gonna sound cheesy compared to Ronnie. He's like the best at what he does. I go. I better go completely the other way. Like not a rapper, but screaming rapper maniac. A guy that just he doesn't even do anything near Ronnie. That's what in my mind.
Right.
I wanted to experiment and give him these heavy riffs and see. So I found this one kid named Tim Saxton and. He, had no musical knowledge. He was just he was in a band and they were kind of Korn-ish, but he didn't really sing, but he had like cool little parts, but he rapped and screamed and he's just weird for me to throw because I'd been with Dio.
Right.
So
you threw yourself in a totally different environment.
The first couple albums, there's one on there called Goated. He's on that one. You'll hear. He's one of those kind of singers. Whether it worked or not, perfect for, I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I think it was pretty cool, but I'm glad I did it because I got it out of my system. Ray's on the album, and Larry Dennison's playing bass. He's the guy that ended up in Dio with me, and
oh, cool.
It's really heavy, and he's not like a singer, so to speak, like a normal singer. A lot of people said, "Oh, he just screams too much." And people always have their opinions and stuff on what you're doing. So I did a couple CDs with him, and then I just did a couple instrumentals, and I keep going back to instrumentals. Why? Because instrumentals is just like the ultimate to me because it's like no singers are in your way. You don't have to be labeled. You don't have to be labeled. The singer labels you right away. It's just pure rhythm and groove and sound. And there's a flamenco CD in there for you.
Wow, killer.
It's all over the place. It's all kinds of different stuff. I did one album that I said, I don't want to play any electric guitar, just my flamenco guitar, which is really difficult to play for me because I'm a rock guitar player. It's just like got like Santana meets Gypsy Kings or something.
Wow,
and
cool.
I love that shit, So
yeah.
one of those CDs is like that. Randy played on the Tracy G Group CD. There's a couple Tracy G Group CDs in there where they're instrumental, but he played on the one I did, I don't know, a couple years ago, I guess. It was like, yeah, it's in there too. And it's a combination of everything because there's some vocals on it. There's some instrumentals on it. There's some heavy stuff. There's some not chicken picking stuff, but it's just all over the place because Tracy G Group, I could just do whatever.
Do whatever you want, right?
Do whatever. Does everybody accept it? Do I sell millions? Well, no. Because it's not good? No. It's music, not everybody gets it. Not everybody wants to get it. But it's real.
Right.
It's real. There's no compromise.
You
Produced it myself.
Right.
Did the best I could to make it sound good. And it's just, if we're musicians, we need to do that. That's what we do. We need to put out music and record
Express
music.
yourself.
When we're gone, when I'm dead, that shit's here forever. That shit's here.
Right.
When you do something like that and you're gone someday, it ain't. So that's the most awesome thing about doing music that's uncompromised and it's real. It's not someone nobody told me how long or what to play or fuck that. None of that. It's just real.
Right. Are you still playing that Sandoval guitar or whatever?
Pretty much, but
that was a good sounding guitar and totally destroyed looking guitar.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit about that.
That's the main guitar. It did did the World War III album. It did all the Dio tours and all the Dio albums, and I still have it. It's like my main one, but I do have another like a regular Fender Strat because I've do a lot of bluesier stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I do anything heavy, On the new Pain Savior album, the heavy one I have, that's that guitar because it's heavy. But that guitar came from Carl Sandoval. He's the dude that made Randy Rhoads' polka dotted V.
Okay.
That's where that guy. I used to work with him in the 80s. And Randy and Kevin DeBro came to his house. They got on the ground and they put out a blueprint and they drew out that polka dotted V for him. I remember I was there when they ordered it and he wanted the bow ties.
Wow,
the whole thing, yeah, pretty trippy. Before he was really famous, he wasn't in Ozzy yet or nothing. So when he left, he goes out, we need to make you a guitar pretty soon, Tracy. I'm like, oh, cool, man. That would be, all right, awesome. So one day, he goes, let's go to the wood store where they got all the killer wood, all these expensive flame top, whatever, wood, all kinds of wood, Right. We wanted alder because that's the wood he liked to make it out of. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I didn't know that much about that. But he said alder is a good choice for wood for a Strat and blah, blah, blah. I wanted a Strat shape, so we're in there. We're looking at all the woods and all these really expensive, beautiful, wood grains and all this different stuff. And what color are you going to want it and all that shit, And I don't know. And then true story, a trash can, just like there's a trash can in the corner of the place right there. And it's got wood thrown in it. And I just, for some reason, this one chunk of wood caught my eye because I had this giant knot, natural knot from the tree right through it. And I pulled it out of the trash. I go, can you make a guitar out of this and have like the knot in it? And he's like, well, as long as it's not as long as the knot isn't where the controls are going to be, if it ends up being out of the way, routing where, right? It was only like half the size of a guitar, though. It goes, we would need another piece of wood so I could glue two together. So we found two pieces of wood that had a knot and a knot. You could see right through the wood, the knot. So he ended up gluing those together, cutting it out in such a way that the Floyd and all the, the controls go up the middle, and there's just enough room for the volume knob and a switch, but the knots are like how they are.
Didn't that guitar go through some heavy battles, though? Like,
well,
it seemed like there was it got shot at some point or something.
No, I took it once he cut it out before it fairly looked pretty new, and it didn't cost anything because it was in the trash. So that was cool. And he cut out the shape of the Strat, glued it together. I took it home and put it on my mother's stove and burned it.
Oh, you burned it?
I cooked it just to get the burn marks in it. I thought that would be fun. So to give it a little bit of distressed look other than the knots.
Yeah.
And then
you were doing that before it was popular, distressed look.
Yeah. Now there's companies that fucking do that.
I know.
I should
but get they don't light it on fire. Like
I should get some goddamn royalties from those fuckers, man. Yeah, because there's people that distress them on purpose and everything. I go, fuck, sure. I was doing that in fucking 1982. So anyway, then I brought it to him. He put the whole thing together, and then he said, okay, what kind of lacquer do you want? I go, I want nothing on it. He goes, you got to have like a sealer on it. I go, no, I don't want nothing on it.
You didn't even use a sealer?
I didn't seal it. I didn't lacquer it. I didn't paint it, nothing. I should have brought it. Maybe
the burn sealed it.
Today, it looks better every day. Well, there's some good pictures of it on my Facebook lately. We've been taking some pictures of it. It looks like it's 1,000 years old.
Right.
It's fucking beautiful. And it plays, It
actually had a really good tone, that guitar.
I didn't know how it was going to sound when it was, we didn't know. It just sounds warm and mean. And it's got X2Ns in it, which are way overdriven, but it's just good for the metal shit, It's just good for the heavy stuff. Yeah.
One thing about your playing too is a lot of people that try to do a lot of that kind of noise style or whatever.
Yeah.
If you unplug all their shit, it sounds atrocious. Right. And the difference is you can run your guitar directly into like a Marshall and it sounds really good.
Yeah.
Like you use that stuff to your advantage in certain spots, but you actually have a good straight tone
to start with.
Yeah.
Well, that's what people don't understand. They go, if a guy's just stepping on a pedal and making a noise, the fucker can't play, and he has horrible. He can't play. They right away say, well, he's doing all that to cover up because he can't play music. But I mean, that's not what came first. I'm learning how to play first. I'm still learning how to play, but I mean, I learned how to play the basic stuff in the early days, and then I got more and more into incorporating the sounds and. Ooh, this pedal does a little mechanical sound. Fuck, I'll keep that one. Oh, this button does this. So I have like 3 or 4 little things that I incorporate to my basic blues metal style. And you asked me a minute ago, like, how did I get that style or something? I think you said something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to find myself, even though they say, people say, I could tell that's you. Well, that's the best compliment in the world if someone could say that. But it's not like I just said, oh, this is how I'm going to do that. Or this. All I can say is just be stubborn and be yourself and do your own thing. Don't try to be everybody else, and just, it's okay to be yourself even if no one digs it yet.
Right.
Everybody just wants to be loved, and everybody wants to be praised, and you sound just like Eddie Van Halen, or everybody wants to be somebody else, whether it's the way they look or walk.
Yeah, you have to take it to your own
You
place,
gotta
otherwise
just say-
you're just gonna be a copy.
You
of
got to
somebody.
say, you know what? There's Eddie Van Halen, and there's Joe Blow down the street, and there's Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then there's me.
Right.
None of one's better. We all just do what the fuck we do, and this is what I do. You got to have an attitude about it a little bit. In other words, like, fuck you if you don't like it. You got to, if you don't have that attitude, if you just want to be a people pleaser, good fucking luck, just always trying to please everybody. I mean, I'm like, fuck them. If they don't, if they like it, great. If they don't, well, I don't care. It can't stop you. I got to hear that shit and get off on it by myself. Oh, it has to just, I'm in by myself 90% of the time in my studio. Like, you probably are when you're working on your shit. You're by yourself in your studio, working on your shit and getting off on it by just right there. Just like, it's making you feel good or it's not making you feel good. And you do it until it makes you feel good. If you can't do that, if you can only do it when there's a crowd of people around or there's all kinds of, drugs or fucking drinking and chicks and all that, okay, that's all fun. Don't get me wrong. But you got to be able to plug that shit in and go, fuck yeah, and feel it and make something out of it so it's cool.
Right.
Then you can survive doing it, whether they buy it or not, or whether we make money on it or not. I mean, that would be nice to make more money. Who doesn't want more money? But it's not always going to happen. It's not always about just that. I don't think it's about the tone and the sound, and that's what makes us want to play. It has to sound good. I didn't really like those rental fucking Marshalls that we had remember we had to rent we always had to rent gear when we go to like South America. Shit like that. But you got to just find a certain place on that stage where you can handle the tone that because those didn't sound like my Randalls, they sound
totally different.
They sound how they sound, but that's part of the gig, when you got to rent gear, you got to like make it.
Get yourself into it.
Yeah, you got to find a place on that stage. One time playing a song called Stargazer, Rainbow, right?
Yeah.
Off of Rainbow Rising. It's like the whole side of the record or something. Playing it, one of my favorite songs, playing it in Europe with Ronnie. It's got this long ass like guitar solo that's sort of like in a harmonic minor, one of those Richie Blackmore, Yngwie Today thing, that kind of scale. It's kind of Indian sounding thing, and it goes for quite a while. So every night when we'd get into that part, instead of me walking in front of the stage, like, here's the crowd and you're supposed to, solo time, here I come, right? I'd go towards the side fills, and I'd be standing in front of the side fills for the feedback, to hold a note for the feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
But, the people were out there, but I'd be like over here kind of like, because I'd forget about what.
You were just in your own zone.
I'm supposed to perform, I'm like, I don't know what that is.
But I mean, I think, Richie did that a lot too. He would just kind of disappear, be behind the amps or something.
Ronnie told me not to. Ronnie told me not. At one point, he goes, I know why you're doing that, but it's your solo part. So the light's going to go and you should go in front. So I understood him too, but I'm like, it sounds like shit in front though.
Yeah.
But I'm supposed to act like it's not, I can't act. It's like you're making a video. You got to act like you're playing. Like I fucking hate that because it's not real. I can't.
I think, and you know what, guitar always sounds weird to me coming out of the monitors. It's like you're used to the amp sound. It always sounds totally weird.
It can sound totally, especially those ones in the front usually.
Right, that's
but
what
this
I mean.
was the
side fills.
Side fills were like almost like the PA out front.
Right.
Then it was big because it was they were big gigs, right? So it sounded better than my gear.
Oh right.
Yeah, because the sound man knew me and they had verb and shit going. It was like forever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even go by my amp. Right. I would go by those things because that's where it would just ring forever, Yeah. Again, I wasn't doing that to be selfish to the people or like try to close. It was just about getting the sound out of what I'm trying to play, each night, To me, that's me doing my job the best I could do it is play the best I can and be real and play what I'm feeling, not what someone's telling me to play or standing where you're supposed to, Yeah, I gotta get that shit. Well, maybe Ronnie couldn't tell Richie much because
Richie was the guy.
Richie was the guy. He's the guy that brought Ronnie in, so that's the difference. Well, Same thing with me and Ronnie. I'm nothing, and Ronnie's letting me play with him. So, he's the guy. So obviously, I would listen to him. But he pretty much never told me shit. He never once told me play like anybody except for in Sweden once. In Sweden once, he said, people aren't really getting your guitar solo, man. It's like too out there. Like you're doing like this jazzy stuff and shit. And you're doing all this stuff. He goes, you got to play more rememberable stuff like Richie Blackmore, he said. And I said, well, why don't you just hire him? He didn't like that.
I'm sure that didn't go over
that didn't
that
go over
well.
too good. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I got a little argument. And he says, being stubborn is not going to get you anywhere. You're going to find out that being stubborn is not going to get you anywhere. The problem with me is like I talk back. Like I should just shut up. But when somebody tells me something like that, if I think they're wrong, I say, well, it got me in your group. I said, it got me here. And I'm not about to change now. It is what it is, But it was all good. The whole thing was, you got little moments like that, but 99% of it all was just, you just do what you do and nothing was said. When I had to learn all the Dio songs, all the covers to
Sabbath
go on tour,
stuff, right?
Sabbath, whatever. It was never once do the solo like Richie Blackmore, do the solo like Vivian. Never, ever,
Cool.
never.
That's cool.
Until I left the band. And that's why I left. I chose to kind of leave the band. Even that's kind of how it went. Their offer was, we're bringing Craig Goldie in. Can you play just rhythm guitar now?
Oh, wow.
And I said, goodbye.
Right.
I said,
That didn't work for you because that'd be more stifling.
It's like, and put a tutu on and stand in the back and just like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I played lead guitar for this band for 6 years. Now you want me to still stay in the band, but just stay in the background and let somebody else play the solo. Like, that's when I get to speak. Like, that's my time to speak. If you want to take that away from me, why do I want this gig? Like,
Right.
I'll go play someone else where that's what I do.
So
if you don't care
what are you
for
doing now? Like what's next on the agenda for you?
This album, I gave you a few CDs today, but one of them is called Pain Savior, and that's it's metal, and it'll be released like Halloween, and it'll at least be a project I could sell on my website, I hope. As far as making it a band, I don't know, because the singer is from New Jersey and he lives over there and I live here.
Yeah, it's a tough.
It's a tough one. So why did I do it with someone who lives? Well, I heard his voice and I thought his voice fit my shit, and so it took me a year to write the songs and produce the stuff and do the whole thing. I've never met the guy. I still have never met him.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, and
that's something that
we got
could
that
only
too.
be. That's like an internet age band.
It's
huh?
an internet age project. He recorded the vocals there, and they emailed me the vocals, and I put them in my shit. Yeah,
Cool.
And it sounds like we're all in the same room. It's got like 4 or 5 different drummers on it.
Wow.
Randy's playing bass on one song. I played bass on most of the stuff. Randy's plays bass on one. Ray plays drums on about 4 songs, and about 4 of the drummers. I just spread them all out because I didn't have a band, so to say. I just got different guys to do different songs. It's pretty good. It's metal. I had to get that out of me because I hadn't put out a metal CD since like 2007.
You've been doing more blues stuff? Or?
Fusion, instrumental blues, rock, hard rock, but not really full-blown metal, Those kind of riffs are something I would have maybe thrown Dio on the next record. It's that kind of thing, but It's not Dio, obviously. It's something else. But
so are you, do you kind of concentrate more on studio stuff at this point? Or are you gigging a lot? Or how's
I got
work?
a little bit of both. I'm trying to get more out and playing out. So like there's this one group that lost their guitar players, are friends of mine. So they're hiring me to like step in and play guitar for their group. Maybe I could do some gigs and get out there playing. I do another gig with another guy that's just me and him. We play like little places and we play once a month, and gets me a chance to play out a little bit, and then as much recording stuff as I can do, and I teach. And yeah, I would like to be on tour and playing like that really, but that hasn't come up yet to do that yet. Hopefully in the future it will be, but because the goal is always still to play and
every
probably
day and be making music. Yeah.
and play live. I mean, studio stuff I love and everything, but there's nothing like plug it in live and going on a little tour, and maybe with my own group, the Tracy G group, and maybe or whatever group, as long as I can do what I do,
Yeah.
you gotta hang on to that. It's not just I'm a guy for hire, yeah, but even these guys that are hiring me, Adam and Rich and Mike, these guys, their band. I told them the other day, we had a meeting. I go, yeah, I'll come in and play 3 or 4 of your old songs and maybe some new stuff that we bring in, but I'm gonna do them like me, just so you know. Oh, we know, we know.
Right.
I go, I'm just going to fuck them all up. I'm going to tell you right now. It's just, that's just the way it is. I mean, you know, and that attitude gets me I don't probably get a lot of gigs because of the way I am. And then I get the gigs that I get, you know, for the way I am. Right. So there's might be people that would want to hire me, but like, oh, that guy's not going to do what we say.
Right.
Hey, he's stubborn or he's hard to work right, but just because.
But you got to be true to yourself. Otherwise, you're not having a good time, and it's like, why are you doing it?
I don't want to play some fluppy-duppy stuff. That's like, and even when I play covers with my friend Mike Beatty, we do covers. We do like Lionel Richie song. We do everything, Queen, you know. But I always do everything. We do some Beck stuff. Like since we ended as lovers, we could do that song.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, dude, I just love that's me. I'm not even able to do that song in like a metal situation. See, but that tune like that, I love shit like that because it makes me. I'm not stepping on my pedals all the time. I'm more just playing.
Expressive.
I love the Beck stuff. See the bluesy stuff. Yeah. But then I like to mix in the acid sounding shit, right? The fucking because it's a trippy right. Effects into the playing. But people
I mean, but what would you tell if you went to say Guitar Center and you found some young kid that's totally good on guitar and trying to do that traditional thing of like as somebody yourself who has, you know, basically won that musical lotto of like playing with somebody totally big time. You get that audition, you make it, you're in the band. What would you say to that kid to help him on his path to try to get to that level?
I would tell him to just stay focused on what's important, and what should be important is what was important to me. Really, your playing, your tone, your gear, those are the most important things. Be yourself. Stay away from all the party shit a little bit. Do it, but I mean, do whatever. Watch all that. That can fuck you up.
Right.
You know,
it's
chick,
like networking without getting lost in the whole party.
The chicks, the booze, the drugs, the fame, the ego. Watch all that fucking shit. It just will fuck you up. You just got to stay true and be able to get off on who you are. Be yourself. You know, don't compromise. Just be the first one there and the last one to leave. Be there because you fucking want to play guitar for that thing. That's what I would tell them. I tell them, I have a few students.
That's actually good. It's first one there, last one to leave. That's cool.
I mean, some people think, don't you got anything else to do? You know, no. I don't have anything else to do. I don't want to do anything else, man. I want to do this session the best I can, and that band. If it's not everything to you, then you're gonna be fucking like wishy-washy. You know, I mean,
right.
You either are that way or you're not. Though you can't. I don't think. I mean, if you're gonna get into trouble and go over there, you know, you're just gonna. You know, I don't know.
Well, you know what? That reminds me of when you read stories about like the early Beatles stuff, and those guys would be playing 3 or 5 sets a night, and then they'd have a day off, and they would be working on music on their day off. Like a lot of people would say, I want to hear silence for a whole day, but
it's what they are.
People
that
have,
it's
exactly.
It's if it's in you, it's what you do. It's just what you do, man. It's like that's what you do. I mean, if you're just doing it part time or just for the money, then you're different, and not everyone's gonna be like the same. I used to think, oh, look at that guy is a local guitar player. He's really great. I want to meet him. You know, as a little kid, I'd be like 15 or something. I'd be like, I want to talk to that guy and ask him about that Echoplex. I just got an Echoplex, man. One of the ones with the tapes. You know, I had just got one of those. Right. You know, those ones. I go, I think he's got one up there. I want to ask him about it. So he took a break and he comes walking by me and I go, hey, you know, I was real shy. It's hard for me to talk. I was like, I go, man, yeah, you got an Echoplex, man. He goes, man, I want to talk to you about music, man. I'm on a break or something, man.
Wow.
He just completely blew my mind. I'm like, well, are you, huh? Like, I learned though. I learned like not everybody's gonna be, you know,
living and breathing it like
no,
that.
No. And I thought just because you have a guitar in your hand, we have something in common. Well, I mean, we might have something in common a little bit, but it doesn't mean the guy lives for it. He could be doing it for a whole nother fucking reason.
Yeah.
That you do it for, just like whatever it is that turns you on that you do, or it doesn't mean the other guy is gonna be so passionate about it. I didn't know that. I thought, oh, if you're in a band, you're just like me, because I know why I'm in a band. I don't know why I like to play, because it makes me feel good and I express myself. You know, that's me.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's
not
them,
everybody's like that.
No, I didn't know that, but now I know that, so it doesn't blow my mind just to meet people that play. I'll say, oh, nice to meet you, but I'll think until I really get to know them, are they fucking really into it, or are they just a fucking poser? You know?
Right.
Yeah. Do they just? There's a lot of those. Because it's so cool.
Especially in Hollywood.
It's so cool to. I'm an engineer. I'm a producer. I'm on the radio. I play guitar. It's so cool to say that. I got chicks like I'm doing this. Fuck you, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever, man. Yeah.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming down, and I would
it's awesome.
I would love to maybe like continue this sometime, because you have a lot that I'd like. We barely scratched the surface.
I know there's
I think,
a lot of crap,
but I don't want to keep you here for 3 hours either.
No, that's
so.
cool. You asked such great, I think, such trippy questions and not predictable questions, because you took it like you've been there a little bit, even on tour with me. You ask these other questions that people normally don't ask, so it makes me talk more, freely with it, because it's not so
cool. Yeah,
the typical shit. Yeah, we always hit it off. We always talked cool, and we always got that. That's why I knew this was going to be fun and cool, because we got along then, and I knew like. Now you got all these other things to ask, and I almost want to interview you, and I almost want to interview you about what you've been doing and find out more about, because like I do a little bit more now what you do, like because when I met you,
you're doing more all around stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I play guitar, but I've tried to learn a little bit more of this to get my guitar playing out there.
Yeah,
right?
That's killer.
So
we should do some stuff. Maybe what might be really cool is to do another episode at some point, and in between maybe like work together in the studio and have that be part of the episode.
Of course.
That would be
like
killer.
Either lay down a track or record a piece, or I don't know, something. All the parts of making the music.
Right.
Making the music, that's why we're here. That's why we're friends. That's why we know each other. Were you there when had Akuchi, the drummer from Loudness, do that solo album there?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there.
Was there with you.
You were there when he had me do that one song, right? Yeah, that was just a great.
That guy actually passed away.
I know.
Yeah.
He got cancer or something.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He's
I heard about that. Very cool. And his sidekick was Mick, the singer.
Yeah.
He was a translator, right? And I had my brother-in-law with me. I don't know if you remember, but we remember that. That was really cool to do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. And I have that album hanging on my wall at home.
Awesome.
That fucking it's got Stanley Clark on this album, and
Stanley
Steve
Clark.
Vai, and I'm right there with I'm like, fuck, like, wow, that was just a big. Not that many people know about that record.
I know there were a lot of people on that record.
Yeah, all kinds of they had a big budget. And they hired Ronnie Dio sang one song on it that Jeff Pilson wrote that I played on, but they had instrumentals like with Stanley Clark. I think Stanley Clark, Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, just all kinds of big guys, man. I'm like, fucking hell.
It was cool.
That was beautiful.
It was fun.
Yeah. Too bad he passed away. He was a good drummer, that guy. I
he
barely got
played
to
really
know.
well
That was the only day I ever met those guys. I talked to him again on the phone maybe once after that, because I wanted to keep in touch with him and stuff. And talking to them in Japan was sort of hard, It's like, yeah, but that was about it. I never saw him again or anything.
We definitely got to record some shit together. Let's do. So you will you come back and?
Of course, dude. Now that I've been here, I know. Thanks, Randy, for driving me over.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. I appreciate it, man.
I was gonna make it fine, and I saw him. He was playing, bass. I was like, hey, I want to do this thing, and he's like, I want to go down there, and I go, good. And he's got the what's it called on your phone? Your GPS, and I don't have that going on yet. And he goes, that'll be. I go, that'll make it easier for me to find it because I've never been there. But
right.
But I'll come down here anytime, dude. And
you're welcome to bring your amps, but there's plenty here to.
I wouldn't need my amps. I'll bring my maybe my pedal board and my effects,
there
dude, and then it'll be all over.
And the Sandoval, you got to bring the Sandoval.
Oh, fuck, for sure, dude. And, too bad you don't have any. Do you have any access of videotaping any of it or no?
Yeah.
Because totally. If you had like video clips,
yeah,
and
we'll
mix it with this, and
sure.
you could make like that would be cool, dude. Fuck yeah. What do you want me to say?
Well, I want to say to you, thanks a lot for coming down, because it was totally killer. And
beautiful.
We've been waiting for a while because you got sick last time, right?
Yeah.
So
I like the
Glad you're
flu. I was
better,
all,
but just
I
killed
was
it.
all
You came
shaky.
down.
Thanks, man.
And it was great seeing you again. I mean, it's been like over a decade, right?
Fucking 97. It's
Yeah.
been like, almost, yeah.
I've talked to you a little bit, but we haven't really hung out since.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Awesome, dude.
that is, I'm totally stoked
can't
that you
wait
came down.
Come down
can't
again
wait-
and do something, do more stuff,
Exactly.
Part 2 or
Incorporate a
something.
little music into it.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
for sure.
Alrighty, we're out. Episode 13 of Muse and Men on September 11th, 2013,
9/11.
which is pretty heavy.
Wow.
And I want to thank Tracy G a lot for coming down. I want to thank Randy for bringing him down. And we'll catch you on next episode probably in about 2-3 weeks. And we're
Awesome.
out. Say goodbye, Tracy.
Adios.
Cheers.